what exactly is the Electoral College, and why does everybody make such a big deal about it every 4 years during the presidential race? Well, for our first 5th grade presidential election, I'm Uncle Sam, and I'm here to tell you what the Electoral College is and why it's so important. Stay tuned to find out. There are a lot of numbers on this Electoral College map, so I'm here to help you break it down. So, where do all these electoral college numbers come from? Well, they come from the number of representatives we have in the legislative branch, or the Congress. So, there are a total of 538 total Electoral College votes. There are 435 people in the House of Representatives. There is 100 people in the Senate. That comes out to 535 people. There are also 3 representatives from the District of Columbia, also known as Washington, D.C. If you add all that up, that gets you 538 total votes. Now, you might want to know why the magic number to win the presidency is 270. Well, if you split 538 in half, you would get 269 and 269, which would be a tie in the Electoral College, which has never happened. You need 270 votes. So whatever candidate gets 270 electoral votes, they are the majority winner, and they become the next President of the United States. Now, all states have a different amount of numbers. Where do those numbers come from? How are they chosen? Stay tuned to find out after this commercial break. Every 10 years, your parents have to fill out what we call the census. And the census is basically taking attendance for the entire country. It happens every 10 years because we give people time to move around and figure out where they're living. But during that time, this year, 2020, we had a census. So next year, we take all those votes and we redistribute those 538 Electoral College members. Sometimes, if a state grows in population, you may get more Electoral College votes. But if you lose population, you lose number of Electoral College votes. That's why people are so determined to make sure every vote is counted in the census, because it really makes a big difference in how big a say your state has in determining the next president. For example, Oregon has 7 electoral votes, but if our population grew, we could have 10 or 15. Texas, right now, has 38 electoral votes. So they want to make sure their population keeps going up or stays the same, because they'll be one of the states, if their population decreases, that they may lose votes. What else do we need to know about the Electoral College? I'm glad you asked. There have been 2 times in our history where the president did not win the popular vote. So yes, you could be the most popular president in the election and still not win the Electoral College. In 2000, George W. Bush won the Electoral College, even though Al Gore won more votes. President George W. Bush became our president. In 2016, Hillary Clinton actually won more popular votes than Donald Trump. But Donald Trump won the Electoral College, and he became our president in 2016. So just because you win the most votes doesn't mean you actually become president. You have to win the Electoral College. This is why there is a great debate. Do we want the Electoral College, or do we just want the person who wins the most votes to become president? Some people like the Electoral College because that means all these small states, they only have 3 or 4 votes, matter. Where if it was just the popular vote, states like California and Texas and New York and Florida would be the most important because they have the most people. So it comes down to your philosophy. How many people do you want to be involved in the presidential election? There is also what is called the swing state factor. These are states that are always up for grabs in every presidential election. Some states are known as safe states, like California. It always goes Democrat. New York usually goes Democrat. Texas usually goes Republican. These are states that we generally have an idea of where their electoral college votes are going to go. But states like Michigan, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Iowa, these are states that are known as swing states because their populations are so close in who they vote for every 4 years that it swings back and forth. So presidential candidates usually spend more time in these swing states because they know the election might very well come down to that. If we end up sometime with a tie in the Electoral College, then the vote is taken to the Congress. The two people running for president are then picked by the House of Representatives. So each of the 50 states gets together in their delegate group. New York has 29, Texas has 38, and the group gets together and they cast one vote as a state. And that one vote they determine they either give to the Democratic nominee or the Republican nominee. Or if there's a third party, they could also give it to the third party nominee if it was a tie. And whoever gets the majority of the states, 26, they become the president. The vice president is then picked by the Senate, and it's done the same way. The 100 senators get together, they cast their vote, and whoever gets the majority pick becomes the vice president. So if there's a tie, it could be possible that the Democrat may win for president and the Republican could win for vice president, because it no longer comes down to the popular vote, it comes down to what the Congress votes. What happens if there are ties there? Whew! Don't worry about it, because it just starts blowing up in your face after that. Hopefully, we never get to what I call the nightmare scenario. Well, friends, hopefully this gives you a little bit more information on what the Electoral College is and how it's used in electing the next President of the United States. In the first Tuesday of November, we'll be electing a new president. So the Electoral College will be coming for a TV near you. I hope you stay up to watch. And, as my stick figure said, maybe one day you'll be able to elect Mr. Lures. He might make a great president. As for now, I'm Uncle Sam, saying once again, the more you learn, the more you know. Stay tuned for more presidential videos leading up to this year's election. Have a great day.